Hi, Algebra 1. This is Miss Best. I just wanted to quickly review some things from this chapter. Remember that in this chapter, you have to be able to write the equation of a line in three forms: the slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b, the point-slope form, and the standard form. And we have two examples. In the first example, I am given 2 points. If I am given 2 points, I need to be able to write the line in these three forms. The first thing I need to do is find the slope. So the slope is the change in y. Remember, the formula is y. So if you don't remember each one, you can label them. This is x, this is y, this is x2, this is y2. So we take our second y, which is -2, minus our first y, and all of that over our second x, 12, minus -12. Please, this is a question like this. I could see this being on the test, and I could see students thinking, oh, the slope is 0. It's not 0. Make sure you actually write it down. Don't go too fast. They put these numbers the same on purpose because a lot of students will just automatically assume that they subtract out, but they don't. -2 minus 2 is -4. And 12 minus -12 is +24. So if you are still kind of sometimes make mistakes with negatives, then I highly suggest you use your calculator. One of the nice things about being in Algebra 1 is that you do have a calculator. So for speed and accuracy, you may want to use the calculator just on the test. And then we simplify that and we're going to get -1/6. This is our slope. Okay, next, once I know the slope, you have two options to either use the slope-intercept or the point-slope form. I personally like to use the slope-intercept form, but let's use the point-slope form because that's normally what your teachers will give you. Once you know the slope, then you pick one of these points, doesn't matter which one, and you put it into the equation. So I'm going to pick the first point. So y minus y1, so that's going to be y minus 2 is equal to -1/6 times x minus x1, but since it's negative, a minus, right, it becomes a plus. And every student has been really good about making sure they remember to switch the signs. So great job. Okay, so this is the equation in point-slope form. And then if I want to put it in slope-intercept form, then I need to what? I need to multiply everything out. This is the same thing when you were doing the explicit form of the arithmetic sequence. When you had, remember, you had your common difference times n minus 1. Then you just distribute it and then combine all the constants together, the numbers together, and then you will get the slope-intercept form. So I'm going to distribute the 1/6 and then add the 2 on the other side. Okay, so 1/6 times x is 1/6x, and then -1/6 times +12 is a -2, and then we add that 2 from the other side, so that's going to actually be 0. So here's our equation, y is equal to -1/6x, and then the last equation is that we're going to add the x to the other side, and then because it's a fraction, remember, you cannot, for standard form, you can't have fractions, so I am going to multiply everything by 6, and so my standard form will be actually -6. So my standard form will be x plus 6y is equal to 0. Okay, so those are the three forms there. Well, what happens if I have a graph? So if I have a graph, then I need to find the slope from a graph, and we can draw straight line. They have the points marked here. On your test, they will not be marked. You will have to find that yourself. Find some. Remember, you want to find two good points, and then draw a straight line across. Okay. And then we find the slope there. So I'm just going to count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the rise is 10. And then the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the run is 8. And I can see that I'm going down 10 and across 8. So my slope will be negative 10 over 8, which I will simplify, right? Divide the top and the bottom by 2. And so that will give me negative 5 over 4. Okay, so that's the slope. And once I know the slope, same thing. You can either use the point slope or the slope intercept. So this one has a nice, it goes through a line here. We can tell that it goes through 1.5. So I'm going to use the slope intercept form. So I have my intercept right there. And so I'm going to take y is equal to negative 5 over 4. Right, that's the slope times x plus 1.5, which I'm going to write as a fraction because we typically use fractions in algebra 1 and 2. We don't really use decimals that much. And so 1.5 is the same thing as 3 divided by 2. Okay, so that's my slope-intercept form. And then if I want to put this in standard form, I need to what? I need to add the negative 5/4 x to the other side. So that would give me 5/4 x plus y is equal to 3 over 2. Standard form cannot have fractions. So when you have different denominators in your fractions, you need to multiply by what? The least common denominator. Meaning, what is the smallest number that both of these numbers are to divide into? And so that will be 4. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4 on both sides. Multiply by 4. Well, 4 will cancel out with that 4, and I'll be left with 5x plus 4y, and 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 times 3 is 6. Standard form, 5/4 plus 4y is equal to 6. So that's a quick overview of how we can write the equation of a line from either points or from the graph.